At the top of the key, I'm moving and grooving, popping and rocking. Why you bumping? Why you locking? Man, take this thumping. Be careful though, 'cause now I'm crunking, crisscrossing, flossing, flipping, and my dipping will leave you slipping on the floor while I swoop in to the finish with a fierce finger roll. Straight in the hole. Swoosh. The winner of the Newberry Medal in 2015 was The Crossover, written by Kwame Alexander. The genre that this book falls into is a poetry novel that's written in free verse. The characteristics that place this book within that genre is that it tells a continuous story and that the characterization, theme, and setting are all very important elements of the story. Let me give you some background about what the Newbery Medal is. The Newbery Medal is named after the 18th century British bookseller John Newbery. The award is given annually by the Association for Library Service to Children, which is a division of the American Library Association. The award is given to the author who writes the most distinguished contribution to children's literature for that year. The Crossover is a wonderful book, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a short summary of the book, but I promise, no spoilers. Josh Bell is my name, but Filthy McNasty is my claim to fame. Folks call me that 'cause my game's acclaimed. Announces the main character, which is 12-year-old, tall, dreadlocked Josh Bell. He and his twin brother Jordan, or JP, have awesome skills on the basketball court. They both have the loving support from their mother, who is a vice principal at their school, and their father, who used to be a basketball legend in his day and is referred to as the man. But Josh has more than basketball in his blood. He's also got the ability to tell his family's story in verse. The Crossover is a coming-of-age poetry novel that deals with family and brotherhood. In the form of free verse and through the eyes of Josh, he tells a story of how he and Jordan deal with the pains and gains of growing up both on and off of the court. There are numerous reasons why The Crossover is deserving of an award. But first, let's look and see what the American Library Association has to say when committee members consider a book for an award. According to the American Library Association, when considering a book for distinguished contribution to American literature, committee members should consider the following points: the interpretation of the theme or concept, the presentation of information accuracy, clarity, and organization, the development of a plot, the delineation of characters, the delineation of setting, and the appropriateness of style. I'm going to go over all of those points. Let's first look at the interpretation of the theme or concept. In the book The Crossover, that's written by Kwame Alexander, the two major themes center on family relationships and loss. Now let's look at the presentation of information accuracy, clarity, and organization. The book is written in free verse. At times, the verses take on a hip-hop tone that keeps readers on their toes. There are concrete poems and shape poems that most often explain a part of the game. The shape of the poem allows readers to feel the ball swishing, bouncing, and passing. Now let's talk about the development of a plot. The plot in The Crossover is very well constructed. The way the book is written draws you into the characters' lives through the eyes of the main character, Josh, since it's written in first-person point of view. This helps the reader understand the choices that the characters make throughout the story. The climax begins in the middle of the story, where it eventually reaches its breaking point near the end of the book. Now I'm going to discuss the delineation of characters. Each of the characters in the book The Crossover are introduced through the eyes of the main character, Josh. Kwame Alexander does a fantastic, if not an amazing job, at describing and portraying each character through the eyes of Josh. The reader learns about the various feelings and attitudes of other characters based on Josh's point of view, and the reader begins to notice good and bad qualities that each character has. Now let's talk about the delineation of a setting. There are various settings in the book, but the main setting is, of course, on the basketball court. The author uses the free verse poems to set the stage for the setting. Each poem has a title, which provides some information into where the specific poem is taking place. For example, one of the poems titled in the book is called Walking Home, which gives the reader an automatic idea of where the main character is at and what he is doing. The poem then helps further clarify the setting. Let's discuss appropriateness of style. The crossover is written for older elementary students in 5th grade and above. The style of writing is what helps keep readers into the book. The various poems, from sparse verse to freestyle to concrete and shape poems, allow the reader to feel the character's emotions and the action of the game on the basketball court. The main character, Josh, has an amazing vocabulary, which is put on display throughout the story. Each time Josh uses a large word, the author dedicates an entire page for explaining the word and giving examples of how to use the word by tying it all back into the story plot. I think this is one of the main reasons that it won the Newberry Medal in 2000. If I have not already given you tons of awesome information of why you need to go to the library and check out this book, The Crossover, written by Kwame Alexander, then I'm going to spark your interest right now. I'm going to give you a little teaser. During the story, Josh learns that breaking the rules comes at a terrible price. At the story's heart-stopping climax, something happens that will change Josh's life and his brother's life forever. You want to know what it is? The only way to find out is to check out the book and read for yourself.